We love horror movies from the 70s and 80s, and we watch them for 2 days straight, and then we go write a book. Now we're looking back at every title, one at a time, in this podcast that we put out monthly. Once we've had an episode for every movie, it's time to meet up for another Shock Marathon. Oh yeah, the red record button is red, which means we are recording another exciting episode of the Shock Marathons podcast. I'm Matt Farley here with Tom Scalza.
Hello.
And Charlie Roxburgh.
Hey.
Let's get into this movie. Beaks, unexciting.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say?
AKA.
Yes.
When Tom says hello, I say hey, because I don't want to say the same thing. If he ever chooses hey, I'm going to say hello. Or hi, might come up, but usually not hi.
Listeners, keep us honest on this. It's our goal to never greet you guys the same way. So let us know if we ever fall back from that. Tom, is there a subtitle to Beaks you want to share with us?
Well, there's multiple. There's actually the subtitle Beaks the movie.
Yes.
As part of the credits. And then in the closing credits, it's called Birds of Prey. So there you go.
And we love a movie that specifies that it's a movie. You know, that's...
It's so amazing. I don't think that, the target audience was horror. I don't know if they appreciated that. It mostly was comedy that appreciated the movie.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So
I think, Charlie, did you make the point in the books that, like, who's going to confuse this with something else, like Beaks the skateboard or something?
Yeah, Beaks anything else. And plus, the only place you were going to see it is the video store.
Yeah.
So you're actually looking at the physical item.
And the tone that when you said it, but I mean, it's such a comedy thing for to be Beaks the movie. When you hear Beaks the movie, you think of this funny, like big Big Bird style character, running around. You don't expect to see actual birds being exploded.
Like a zany thing, like a Kentucky Fried movie,
right?
Hot Dog the movie, Hamburger the movie.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Isn't that great? I never put together until right then that there's both Hot Dog and Hamburger the movie.
Thank God. Let's put that on our list. One of our movies needs to be the movie. Horror.
I'm writing it down right now.
Horror at the Hootenanny Hideaway. The movie.
as opposed to the novelization.
So after the unexciting opening credits, we see footage of large swarms of birds who are mixing in with the trash and the machines and the power lines, which is foreboding, wouldn't you say?
I would.
My question here is, are these scenes in the machinery area and like the trash area for environmental, or is it only because there's a lot of pigeons flying around and seagulls flying around the dump, and Rene Cardona was like, "We need some birds for this movie. We're heading to the dump, people."
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. While they were there, then he was like, "Oh, we should make this part of the plot too."
Everything fell together. Yeah.
Genius. So now we see a man shoot a bird and then spike it like a football. Is that right?
His helper spikes it.
The helper spikes it.
Yeah,
okay. In
slow motion, unbelievable cruelty, and it just feels wrong as you're watching it because you know that it's real.
It is wrong.
So now, the next thing that happens, is this at a new location where the reporter is describing the amazing act of marksmanship that's about to take place? That's a new thing. Is it the same person?
Oh, no, that's the same thing. She's covering that story.
Yeah. Let's listen to the way she describes it because it's fantastic. All right, so that's where the bird's getting spiked. And now it's being filmed.
Blindfolded and with a single shot, Giuseppe Ferretti will attempt to bring down a bird in flight. This is considered one of the most remarkable feats in the history of marksmanship.
Okay. What is going on?
She's getting ahead of herself.
What is going on? So she's been sent out to this wasteland to report on a
Study the
guy.
history of marksmanship first, I guess. The world history of marksmanship.
They're the only people there. There's the helper, the cameraman, the reporter, and the shooter. That's it for this incredible feat. Yes?
So uninteresting to the general public and offensive to many of them.
I know. Like, what were... So this is just an alternate universe where people care about...
Blind marksman.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I mean, her whole job is, well, we'll get to it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't exist in reality.
She majored in journalism, not animal husbandry, but
So blindfolded, the old man hits one pigeon but not the other, and I don't even...
Yeah. Why go to the trouble of showing him missing the second one?
Tom,
he
you're
hits the first one and he's done it. And then he keeps going.
And the guy goes over. The cameraman says, "Why did you do that?" Right? Are you gonna play that clip, Farley?
No,
Okay.
I wasn't.
And the marksman says, "For pleasure," right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's
I
saying it
am
on
gonna
the
play
heels
that,
of
yeah.
just missing the other bird. So this time
Yeah.
I was watching it, I was like, did he mean I let that bird go for pleasure? But no, that's not what the intent is.
Okay,
No, no.
I am going to play that. I got it lined up. Let's hear it.
Why did you do that?
Huh?
¿Por qué hace esto?
For pleasure.
For pleasure. For pleasure? Fuck.
So okay,
Ooh.
bad word.
All right.
Sorry about that. Okay, so the cameraman is assigned to film the man shooting the bird, and then the cameraman's outraged by what he's
Yeah.
just seen. Is that what just happened?
Yes.
That's insane. It makes absolutely no sense. I hate
I-
the cameraman, by the way, Tom.
The whole cameraman reporter duo oversteps their bounds on more than one occasion. This is just the first.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
true.
At least the reporter, I like the reporter because she's so her delivery is so flat. But like the cameraman, he just annoys me to no end.
Yeah, he kind of thinks he's cool, and that
Yeah.
puts on you.
So now we're in downtown Madrid. We see the TV people editing the story. I'm not sure why this is newsworthy. And let's hear a little of the interaction between the tough editor, I guess, at the TV station and the TV people.
Great stuff. Fantastic shot of that bird blowing up.
I wish you could fly. Listen, when are you gonna give me some decent assignments? I'm a journalist, not a sideshow barker. And this is ridiculous. A story about attacked chickens? I'm not gonna do it. I won't do it.
It'll make great copy. The attack of the killer chickens. You do that kind of stuff well.
I majored in journalism in college, not animal husbandry. Give me some news to cover.
Soon. These specialty items get good response, and our audiences enjoy watching you do them.
Enjoy watching me make a fool out of myself.
Just do this one. I'll get you some hard news to cover, I promise you. Anyway, if you don't, then you're a pretty little ass.
You have such class.
I'm giving a party at my place tonight. Want to come?
Sorry, I only have time for chickens.
Ooh, what a comeback by the lady. So
Wow.
I could listen to those two talk all day, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, this is indicative of the whole movie. There, it has that foreigner, writer director trying to make an American movie because it's worth more to sell. Has a sort of a dubbed feel. You feel like everybody's like talking in slow motion a little bit, or doesn't understand the idioms, and the comebacks don't work. The jokes aren't there, and she's really American. And a lot of the people she interacts with aren't. It's just not, it's not funny when it's meant to be. And I enjoy that aspect of it. There's this weirdness of it. The whole movie is like people speaking in a dream.
Yes. It's much more enjoyable than I remembered, I got to tell you that
Oh,
much.
me too.
Oh, good. I'm glad you found that out. That's good. I liked it too.
So now we got a slow-mo shot of a pigeon being shot. And I guess that's part of being out there in Spain in a rural area. Are you raising your hand, Tom? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just we should also say that the director of this movie, Rene Cardona Jr. loves killing animals
In slow-mo.
in
Yeah.
slow mo. It's just so weird. This is just yet another example of his.
It's what
I
he
don't really
does.
know if it's a penchant or an affinity, but he has it.
It's one of those. So so we're in Spain, rural area. There's a nurse tending to the old man is the guy who's shot at the beginning of the movie, right?
I don't know. I think so, but it doesn't look the same.
With the one eye, the guy who gets his eye gouged out.
No, different.
That's different. So wait, the guy at the beginning of the movie, do we ever see him again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It
The
feels
other
like it's
guy's a
supposed to be
hunter.
the same guy though.
He's not
This
blind.
guy's
Yeah, that's
Well,
just
do
to
it.
add a little air of confusion without adding any enjoyment.
So just a very similar guy. And I love how his nurse is decked out full nurse uniform. My goodness,
yeah.
like 19th century style almost. The man enjoys some fresh air on the deck, but
I'm sorry.
yes.
Before we get ahead of it, this is from Majorettes too. There was a live-in nurse in full uniform.
Oh, good
It's
point.
a weird connection.
Helga, right? Was that her name?
Yeah.
Good point. So he goes out to the deck and his eye is gouged out by a bird. So that was okay. Charlie.
This is also like one of the first times they try to impress us with the city name on the screen. It's sort of that we have production value because we're in a different city. I don't care if you are in Spain or Mexico City or San Juan. I mean, a little bit, but really, they all kind of felt the same to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
they
think
probably
that was
were.
his conceit
Yeah.
to save money and get production value, maybe.
So now the news reporter is delivering her story on chicken attack. And one of the lines is that she drops in there is, and it's not even close to Thanksgiving, after mentioning that turkeys were involved. And that was great.
And
See,
where-
that's
and
another
where-
bad joke.
It's a bad joke. And where in the world is she?
Yes, I know.
I have no idea. We don't know if she's in the United States.
Definitely, anywhere but the United States is where she seems to be.
It's so
I
confusing.
think she's just a regular American girl who's like covering bird attacks in Spain.
By the way, have you noticed the name of the company she works for? Megavision.
Oh yeah.
That
They
is
have deep pockets.
Megavision is huge. They run everything. So she considers the story to be beneath her. Then they're interviewing a witness. And the interview involves a moving camera with the subject also moving. And she's just holding the microphone from behind the camera as she's walking along with the cameraman. And like the subject of the interview is like walking around like a choreographed interview. He sits at the pew of a church. It's completely insane. Tom.
It's marvelous. I mean, at one point, I feel like they're tripping over the wire because they have like a wire connected to the microphone, and like tripping over it, and like the cameraman like gets distracted at one point. He's like filming like other things. And it's
The
just
sound
crazy.
the sound of
not
that interview should be so horrible because the
not
microphone
even a
is so far
shotgun
away.
mic.
No. Yeah.
It's a handheld mic that's like 100 yards away in an echoey church.
Let's listen to the reporter at the end of that interview right here.
What Mr. Nielsen is saying is hard to believe. So we've brought this along for an experiment. A small, harmless canary. The delight of many households. In fact, this canary was bred and hatched in a cage. Let's see what happens.
The delight of many households.
What reporter like subjects their interview subject to torment? Like he's like said, birds attack me whenever they see me. She's like, let's see if that's really true.
Yes, yeah, that's so funny. After he describes a bird attack, she unleashes a bird that scratches the
right,
guy's
and film
face. He mugs for the camera too, which is great, Charlie.
It seems like the canary lobby was back in this movie because I think they pushed to have that delight of many households line put in there.
Hilarious. But I could listen to her deliver those flat lines. I could listen to that all day. Just the way she
yeah.
talks delights me. So, all right.
Marvelous.
So now there's a plane that's having trouble landing because of a swarm of birds. We learned there have already been 2 crashes. The birds break into the glass of the cockpit and attack the pilot, and the plane crashes. They couldn't afford to make a plane crash, so we just cut to the explosion on the ground with no sign of any plane, just flames, but I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah.
Reporter and cameraman, they discuss that they have to interview someone who's been attacked by a turkey. By what? A turkey roasting in the oven, the cameraman quips. Oh, and I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
He's the worst.
I don't like the actor. I don't like the character. Just had to let that out. Okay, so now the one-eyed guy suggests that there's a link between worldwide bird attacks. Birds invented flying, he mentions.
After all, I love that.
After all.
He says he feels that he's being monitored by a flock of doves everywhere he goes. It's as if he were a marked man. Believe me, they are watching us right now, he implores the camera woman as she's questioning him. So he's mad that they don't believe him. He gives them info about a community in Rome that was attacked 30 years ago. Looks like we're off to Rome, says the cameraman. We're just following these there's all these characters, like the plane crash. We never meet the plane people again. That's just a random occurrence, I guess. Charlie, is that right?
You're right, it is. And then, right, he this hunter knows a random husband and wife couple in Rome. So the story's going to spin off there. Then flashback of their lives there in Rome to even get farther away from the main characters, and just anything can happen at any moment.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
In any country.
So I guess they went to interview the one-eyed guy because they heard about his attack. I guess that's what our understanding is, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good. So now he sends them to Rome because they're not satisfied with the guy with no eye. That's not enough for them. So let's listen to what the people say in Rome.
Some things you can't forget.
This is really hard for me to believe. But I think this is something that should be brought to the public's attention. Something that could be a possible disaster. Usually birds are thought to be harmless creatures. And what you're saying contradicts all that.
Well, they sure didn't behave that way. That time at least, you know. They seemed to be organized. Like it was planned.
Like they were acting on some kind of intelligence.
Like tactics. They'd fly, then regroup, and attack again. They always hit whoever was wounded, or seemed the weakest.
That's when we go into the flashback.
And the flashback shows none of what I wrote down. None of that. It's a mom and a baby in a park with an unorganized few birds flapping around.
Yeah. So mother. So this woman was the baby? Is that what we're led to believe?
Oh, I don't
She's
know.
the mother.
Oh, she's
I
the
think she's
mother?
the mother.
Okay.
They just didn't.
It's 30 years ago, though, right?
They didn't cast well in the flashback because it doesn't look anything like her.
Okay. So, I mean, but I love the intonations. The way that they say their words is just so perfectly wrong.
You know what, too, Farley? They say all these nonsense fillers, which are delightful.
Yeah.
You know, people will throw. In a way, it's as if the script must have been filled with just these little trailing off lines or introductory sentences that mean nothing, but they're nice.
So let's just listen to more stuff from this interview here.
Susan and I have come to feel is exactly what the birds felt.
Hate. Do you think it was hate or an instinct to survive?
Here, I'm asking the questions here, okay? Hate or an instinct to survive?
Possibly the chance of survival is at the crisis, the way man contaminates everything.
So what you're saying is their natural instincts led them to defend their natural ecological balance. A last effort for the survival of their species?
One other thing, it's hypothetical, of course. Nature has been pushed to the wall.
All right, that's enough of that. But I love it. Isn't it great, Charlie?
They just keep rephrasing each other. We should do that in a movie sometime. Someone says it, and then, no, it's as if this. You mean to say this? Same thing.
Yeah,
Same
I
thing,
love that. Just
slightly
going around
different.
in circles saying nothing. I love it.
That's great.
And this I don't know how much have you guys have watched Birdemic, and I just had to say it real quick here, but I mean, is it possible that the guy who made Birdemic saw this and liked it? Because I know they're both copying the birds, but the birds doesn't get into the environmental stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where the leads in Birdemic go meet with this guy in the woods who does a talk with some of the same points here about the environment. Yeah. It's uncanny.
It really is. Point. It's very Birdemic-esque now that you mentioned it. I hadn't thought of that.
And all the stilted dialogue is so awkward.
And even the main girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Big filler speeches about the environment and what man's doing and all this,
Yeah.
All right, so now I guess we have this new family, right? A mom and 2 kids are posing with pigeons for their dad in a city park.
Mm-hmm.
The pigeons.
Yeah, that's actually in San Juan. I've been there.
To the park?
Yeah.
I've been there too.
Did you know at the time you were at
it's
the
famous
park?
for the birds.
Nice.
It is famous for the birds, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know it was in Beaks.
Okay, next time.
I hadn't had the pleasure of seeing Beaks yet. I might have been there pre-Beaks once when I was very little. Imagine that.
So the pigeons are supposedly attacking, but they're really just flying in slow motion, which is fun. The dad grabs the family and leads them to the car, and they drive off. It does not appear as threatening as it's supposed to.
No.
And it's funny, the decision to have a random family here. Not only is it kind of questionable, but what if we make them a very angry family that's unpleasant to watch?
No, wait, is this the family that we see at the beach later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear that. Now I have another stretch of audio that we're going to hear where after hearing reports of more bird attacks.
This has to be some kind of weird joke. Chickens, canaries, ducks. Give me a break.
Oh, look at those chickens over there. Now, if they were my buddies being roasted with a skewer up their ass, I'd be a little upset too.
Oh, I hate the cameraman so much. Oh.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Yeah, and why are they doubting it at this point? I think it's pretty obvious there's something going on.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's their whole job is bird attack after bird attack.
Okay.
And has this? I'm a little lost in the timeline, but has their relationship been introduced yet into the?
No, and that came so out of the blue. I had no clue that they were dating.
All they did was yell at each other, and not in a dating way. It was just like they were constantly annoyed by one another's presence.
Yeah.
Let's listen now. Now the one-eyed man's gonna get a phone call in a moment. Just stick with us here. The phone's ringing, and this is one of the great moments. We have a picture devoted to this scene.
All-time
classic. He's about to answer the phone.
Hello.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Fine, Grandpa. How's my horse?
He's fine, my love. He misses you very much. You have to tell your mom to bring you over so you can ride him.
Okay. I think we're going tomorrow. Cheers, Mom. Bye.
It's like you took a scene and played it back at 75% of its, just slowed the whole thing down. It's just like, hi, Grandpa. How's my horse? He's fine. You have to. Oh.
I think if you factor in all the slow motion and that kind of stuff, this movie is probably like 75 minutes long.
Yeah, imagine the dude who picked this up off the video store shelf. His buddies were like, Friday the 13th, or we get this, no, let's try this Beaks, man. Let's try it. You put it in, and there's this grandpa-granddaughter phone call.
So mom takes the phone and says they're coming over for a big old birthday party tomorrow, and he's fine with that. He goes out with his gun and shoots a bird. You're positive that's not the shooter from the beginning of the movie? Yeah.
That guy. The whole thing was that guy was completely blind at the beginning.
Was
no,
he?
He wasn't.
No,
he wasn't blind. He was blindfolded.
Oh, but okay, she calls him a blind marksman. I wrote in my notes, but he was blindfolded. You're right.
Yeah, it's fine. It could be the same guy.
Could be. We don't need to dwell on it.
Oh, maybe.
So now the cameraman. Now this is where we find out they're dating. The cameraman's on a bed, looking at a nude centerfold, as the reporter's in the shower. They had the super brief nude moment there too. Is that the reporter supposedly?
Yes, we joked about that.
Yeah.
In our book, right, Tom? I forget who talked about it specifically, but it's so clearly B-movie insert filmmaking. It's delightful.
Like a different woman potentially, yes or no?
Oh yeah, different woman, different continent, maybe a different year.
They had 3 seconds of a naked woman. They're like, just drop it in there. We'll pretend it's a camera woman. Don't worry about it. Just put it in.
And I think the actress had previously done other, like, maybe this movie wasn't up to her standards for what she was going to do a nude scene, but it's amazing that they had to get a stunt a body double for that.
But I hate the cameraman that he's on the bed looking at the centerfold. It makes me hate him more.
Oh yeah, he's the worst. He's one of all time. I didn't realize how until this. I liked the movie more than I thought I was gonna, but him I hate more.
Yeah, and I can't. It is the most unbelievable relationship. No hints, not even the slightest hint leading to this point that they were seeing each other, but they are.
And it doesn't add anything.
No, it takes some away.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, and towards the end they don't develop like a closer bond. It just kind of stays where it is. He doesn't like have to sacrifice himself or anything. All
right, so now we got a man and a woman at a kitchen where they hear a bird make noise outside. It's nighttime. He investigates, then determines there's nothing out there. Then they're both attacked by hungry birds. Tom, what have we just watched?
That's the guy from the church that they were interviewing earlier.
Oh no, the poor guy.
Yep.
They finished him off.
Yeah, birds hate him. That's the thing. That's what he even says it, right? I think at one point.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy from the church who they tormented with the canary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, so we checked in with them, and they're finished off by the birds. Now the reporter and the cameraman are in the hot tub together. Oh, this is the worst. The phone rings. The cameraman's an idiot jerk who rolls his eyes when he hears her saying they need to go to the crime scene. And he looks at his groin and says, sorry, buddy, maybe next time, huh? And it's just like, oh, you are the most obnoxious character. I hate you so much. And just the way he delivers it, it is bad in every way. Am I right, Charlie?
Oh, he's smug, and it's terrible. Oh, it's really terrible.
I've highlighted a mysterious war against mankind is I guess the key phrase in what we're about to listen to. Let's hear it.
Bob, the bodies of Arthur and Olivia Nielsen were found bloodied and mutilated. The victims of doves, the same white doves that have always been a universal symbol for peace. And they have now declared a war, a mysterious war against mankind.
Oh, that's good.
A mysterious war. That sets it off.
The victim of doves. Can we need that to be an album title or something, don't we? The victim of doves. Oh
man. It's almost like a nice subplot if this character wanted to be poetic in her journalism, but was really
bad at it.
Yeah.
So.
And let's be honest, these are pigeons.
Yes.
They're all pigeons.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, all pigeons that are thrown from just off camera at the people. That scene in the house there, if you're, keeping track for the ones that are like questionable for safety of the actors, safety of the birds, everything involved is out the window,
Yeah.
Crazy scene.
All right, so now we got a couple in an RV. They decide to park and watch the ocean. This is a young guy and a girl. And he asks, do you really want to watch the ocean? And she says, it depends. Do you want to fool around? And he laughs knowingly. But now she's running on the beach where she's attacked by a bird off camera, and the guy hears her screaming from the RV.
She said as if she didn't really want to look at the ocean or go to the ocean. That was her last words, right?
The last thing we heard was basically they're going to get intimate by the ocean, and then in the next cut, they're in two different locations.
I thought that it was a different person for a while. I mean, it's not even really my fault because at this point in the movie, we shouldn't be meeting new characters.
Well, she doesn't have a bathing suit on in the van either. And then all of a sudden she's on the beach with a bathing suit running.
So
like
now
1 second later.
Now there's a new car, which I'm learning now is the family from the Pigeon Park, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Blue Jeep family.
Blue Jeep family. This trip is boring. I'm gonna go play, says one of the kids as the dad has to deal with a flat tire. They don't have a jack. Oh, and the back and forth about the mom's brother, because the mom's brother borrowed the jack and never returned it, and they have some major back and forth. That's some good stuff, huh?
Oh, it's horrible. It's so these people are so unpleasant.
Yes.
It's so much detail about an unpleasant backstory of side characters that we don't care about.
So then the kids go to the RV and they open the door and the dead guy like falls. The birds propped him up against the door in such a way that in the way Michael Myers would do it, you know. Which was great. He falls out the door. So now I got some audio highlighted for when the family's driving shortly after that.
Before you do that,
yeah,
you have to keep in mind they got a flat tire, and now the flat tire has been mysteriously fixed because they're driving in the next scene.
That's a very good point. They had a flat tire and no jack, and yet here they are driving.
Stop whimpering, and you too, okay? I know what we saw was awful, but it's over. So try to get a hold of yourselves.
You'll simmer down. The kids are frightened. And with your shouting, you're making them more upset.
I'm sorry. We'll have to get a hold of ourselves.
What is going on? You'll simmer down. Like,
you'll simmer down.
Dead body.
Oh, I mean,
down. Stop
poor
your whining.
kids. Oh, he's telling the kids to stop whimpering. The ne plus ultra of reason to whimper is
a dead body just fell on your
body
little
fell
kid,
on a 5-year-old,
and you're scolding him.
Kilter. Yeah, unbelievable. And her response, unbelievable. The whole thing. You're just on another planet with this family.
Okay, so now they discover several dead people outside of a bus. Their car gets stuck in the mud. They run into a building where the birds seem to be surrounding them. Charlie.
There's a bus with a bus scene in Birdemic with a bunch of dead people around it. Well, they have a battle at a bus.
There we that's when you say evidence, what's it called?
Exhibit A.
Exhibit B. Yeah.
Exhibit Q. Scale model of the entire mall. Yeah.
Okay. So now we cut to another interview. This time with a doctor who says that birds are suffering because of technology and the destruction of their habitat. Birds will become extinct unless man destroys himself first. And that's when we realize that the reporter works for Megavision, which is the greatest name of a TV station I could ever imagine. I love that. Back at the beach, the family is still in this building. A woman comes running there to join them. She hugs the mother as soon as she comes in, which I thought was great. The dad's outside working on the car, which just, I guess, intermittently is inoperable. He sees some birds and runs for safety. So now then... Did you notice this? They decide they need to go to the pier, which is such a bad idea. But when they're deciding they need to go to the pier, at that point, no bird had come into the building.
You're right.
The building was incredibly safe.
We need to get out of here.
need to get out of this safe, secure building.
Get out of shelter.
But the moment they say that they need to get out of there, that's when suddenly the birds are breaking in. That's just weird. Charlie.
I like to think that big mansion on the beach was the Cardonas.
That they owned it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty cool house. I mean, it's very 70s, and
yes.
It kind of looks like Luke's home on Tatooine or something with all these rounded arches, but it is right on the water.
So the birds are breaking through the structures. The family's evacuating. And now we got some great. We cut right in the middle of that action. We cut to some great pop music on the soundtrack, as a young couple is going hang gliding. Let's right in the middle. I'm right. Like it pretty much cuts in the middle of that excitement to watch some strangers. We've never seen them before. And let's listen to this.
It's my favorite part, I think.
Oh, it could be in any country too.
Let's listen to this song.
Ready?
Oh, that bass. How about that bass, Tom, huh?
It's marvelous.
Oh, my God. What a song. So it would seem that the birds are not pleased with these people trying to mimic flight, And so they attack. And
it's like the least environmentally damaging thing you could do almost.
Yeah.
Cruising in a non-powered vehicle.
The birds need to study
The birds hate it anyway. It's just insulting.
So the guy's eye is gouged out. The woman lands on the beach. Slow-mo shot of her running in the sand with a bird trailing her. She uses a piece of a hang glider to kill a bird. But meanwhile, her buddy wasn't so lucky. The birds are eating his remains on the beach. And we never saw them before. We never see them again. Right, Charlie?
Correct. I think that Cardona asked like a special effects guy, like, what can you do for like a bird attacking somebody? And the guy was like, I can make it look like their eye came out. And he was like,
let's do that every time.
We're doing it every guy. Everyone's losing an eye in this thing.
Did you see who did special effects in the credits?
Tell us.
Was it a funny name?
It was Rene Cardona III.
Oh, it was?
Wow, it's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
Oh, there was something else I was going to tell you about that hang gliding. After the bird rips out the eye, you see that he's carrying it in his talons in the sort of a wide shot. Mm-hmm. It's as if Cardona again wants to just take the violence. It's like the bird is slamming when the guy slams the bird on the ground during the opening scene. It's man being very, very mean to the birds. Mm-hmm. Here you've got the birds being like, "Hey, you see this? This used to be in your head. Like I got your eye now."
He has the sunglasses too.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually pretty cool. I don't know how they did that. But because the guy was wearing sunglasses, he ripped it off along with the eye, and then he's holding it all. It's pretty cool.
His reaction to getting his eye ripped out is awesome. Well, the first couple times he's getting buzzed by this bird. It's really troubling, and then he gets cut on the neck, and he's just like, but it's like his artery was severed. He's holding it. And then when the bird actually gets him, he's just rolling around like he's having a bad dream. But it's like a bird is tearing your face apart.
All right, so now we got a phone call between the reporter and her boss, and we're going to listen to it. But we should note that throughout this phone call at the boss's place, there's just some random woman who's stripping down to her bikini. Just for good measure, I guess.
We're not in Spain on a holiday, What's happening here is really incredible.
You want to hear something incredible? Listen to this. We've been getting calls and telexes from news agencies all over the globe. And they all got the same stories.
What? I can't hear you very well.
I said that all kinds of birds are attacking people in countries all over the world. So what you've got isn't news. All my information is going on the air. Before you get back with your story.
Forget about your damn show and who's on first. What's going on here? We've got to do something. We've got to warn them or help them or do something. Damn it.
What is happening?
I gotta tell you, I think the worst part of it all was that she lost a connection and didn't hear him for a line because it doesn't factor in at all. And the connection gets instantly better. And then she gets the gist of the information.
Yeah, that's like the first thing you would not want to show in a movie is like not understanding each other, and it's not related to plot.
How can that happen? That cannot happen.
I got a good idea.
What is this conversation about? Is he saying that he doesn't need her anymore, so he's already got the story? You know, I don't get it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. The whole conversation makes no sense.
It's like she should keep covering it if it's this global thing, and she's the leading bird attack girl, journalist out there. Why? It could go either way. It could go either way.
She's been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars traveling around the world, and he's like fine with it, but like doesn't want her to report anymore.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. But I love it. I love it. I really enjoy it. Anytime she's talking, it's so good. And he's good too. There's that one moment where he stops mid-sentence and like eats a little bit of his food and then finishes the sentence. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, he is good.
He's disgusting. He's like Jabba the Hutt.
So the reporter and the cameraman go to the church for a little bit for some solace, which is nice. And then we're at the little girl's party.
Wait. We can't skip this. She says, "It's been a long time since I've been in a church." And she had been in the church like 2 days before.
Oh, good call.
Marvelous.
We saw her in the church. Call her out right there. That's such a good point. All right. So now we're at the little girl's party at grandfather's place, briefly. And then we're back with the reporter and the cameraman who follow the mayor. There's some sort of vague chaos at City Hall, I suppose. And they follow the mayor into a bar where suddenly they're the only people there. And they discuss the current situation. And great news, guys. I've got it lined up. We got to hear this because it's just beautiful.
We're in a very vulnerable position here.
You mean we're sitting ducks?
It's not funny, Peter.
It's not meant to be. We can't just sit here. I never believed this, but we've got to do something, and we've got to do something fast. We can't just sit here drinking.
We don't have time to wait for help, that's for sure.
The birds banded together, right?
We all know that.
So what we need to do is concentrate the population. Our strength is in numbers.
Yes, that could be.
It's our best defense.
It's our only chance.
Well, Benitez, alert everybody and bring them together. And use all available transportation.
The roads are blocked, remember?
Those birds certainly know what they're doing.
Oh, there's so much going on there.
You could just play the whole movie.
Yeah, I know. It's like one line rarely relates to the next one, you know?
Yeah. Benitez, alert everybody. There's a scattered countryside and bring them all together. You go. Just you, Benitez.
But what purpose does this serve? Like this whole strategy it makes no sense. Yeah. Like what? It's like, oh, if we all get together, the birds won't attack us. Is that their theory?
Yeah, and they're doing it because the birds are all getting together. They're like clearly, well, it's working for the birds. Let's
learn from the birds.
How we do it. So now we're on a train where somehow the reporter lady has become the leader of the resistance.
Before this, though, the kids' parties start. There's a first scene at the kids' party, I think.
Tell us.
Well, the telephone call from earlier about at the mansion with the granddaughter wanting to come over.
Yeah.
So we cut back and forth here between the party with kids and birds attacking, and but actually, a first bird attack hasn't happened yet. The grandpa, though, says he's being followed by doves, has had an eye ripped out on the very property there.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, kids.
Go.
Come on over and have an outdoor party because, I think it'll be fine. I'm not going to mention it. That I'm under constant attack by birds that hate me.
Yeah, so we cross-cut between this party and the train. But didn't you just love it when the girl is like giving orders on the train? It's like she has been put in charge somehow. There's some punks on the train who are like, we're not in any real danger, and she's like, we are, and she calls them penguin brains, which is good.
It's marvelous. And there's like, this train is like, it's staffed by like the military. It seems like
they're
the people running it.
they're forcing everyone into these trains.
And a foreign reporter is the leader, and
so now the birds attack the party goers. Everyone's sent inside. Grandfather goes out to save one last girl. He's a hero. He goes down under the table and starts getting attacked. He's dead. Little girl's saved. The grandfather's daughter comes to save save him, but it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
All the kids are in the house with the nurse and the mom. Birds are coming from all directions. The nurse is attacked and dies. She falls over the ledge at the top of the stairs. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
It gets more Hitchcock birds here. Kind
of.
Of
Very Hitchcock.
Battening down the hatches and trying to keep the birds from coming in anyway, but just without all the good stuff.
Yeah,
really.
without any talent.
Of course. Yeah. But
the mom's...
Yeah, but the pace in this part is very fun. Like, there's like a good 20 minutes here that's just nonstop fun.
Okay,
like, stuff's happening and the dialogue is great, and like there's no lulls.
Real quick, I want to ask you guys: Do you ever get an Island Claws feel here? I'm just saying, the era, the presence of the Haitians, and the sort of confusingness of the many characters on the island, jumping from person to person, the animals attack, a little bit of science mumbo jumbo. It's in the family.
It's in the family, but Island Claws had its act together.
Much more than this, but
yeah, there's a good vibe though. I felt like a Night Creature vibe too in certain moments of being hunted by like animals and things like that. But
yeah,
both Night Creature and
cooperate.
Beaks had productions where there was like the negative was like hijacked, or there was like shady dealings, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so. Yeah, definitely Night Creature. Beaks, I'm sure something happened.
So now the kids are in the house. The nurse falls down the stairs. Mom swings a fireplace poker a few times. After each swing, we see bird feathers. So they're trying to indicate that she's hitting some birds. Is that what's going on there, I guess? It's not clear what we're watching, is the moral of the story.
Yeah, and she's kind of freaking out, too. So it's like, is she just wildly swinging just because it feels good to do something?
Yeah. Back to the train, the camera guy is talking with the conductors about the situation. The reporter continues to boss everyone around. They got sheep blocking the tracks. What are they going to do? Camera guy goes to cut the fence, which he hopes
Wait,
yeah.
Wait, don't get... So they're sitting there, and the sheep come... First, one of the military guys says, they won't dare to attack this train. And then the camera guy says something like, I don't know. You don't know much about these birds. They're pretty, aggressive. And then somebody says, well, what could possibly stop us, or something? And then the next second, there's like 1,000 sheep in the way. And then Peter, the cameraman guy, goes, we got to cut this fence. We got to cut the fence. What can I do to cut the fence? And the conductor goes, all I have is these pliers. Like, perfect. It's so weird.
And it works. The fence cutting works. Thank goodness.
Do you guys think, in all science truth, that it was actually would have been too hard for the train to plow through those sheep, or was it just a movie?
That's a good question. This gigantic train, wouldn't it just blow those sheep away?
Yeah.
Right.
They shoot that idea down pretty quick.
Yeah,
It's
and I got to tell you
impossible.
this too. They're trying to say that the birds are smart here and doing really well. They've said that multiple times in the movie. All they had to do was show that a couple birds were scaring the sheep, that the sheep were smart, or that the birds were smart enough to put the sheep in the path of the train.
Oh, man.
It's completely unrelated nice animals who just happened to walk in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not make it part of the chaos?
Yeah.
All right, so that works, but the birds start breaking through the train windows, and then I don't even know what do they do? They separate the train from the cars that have birds, and then, and then they throw a grenade.
End of story.
It looks like we got some peace now, says the cameraman. A while, anyway. He adds.
That's such a pit line. For a while, anyway.
that was some that whole situation. It was. I didn't even know what was going on or care.
Oh, me neither. And that a while could be 2 minutes because the birds can do the same thing. They can break glass. They'll fly into your next car, blow it up with a grenade. Then you're gonna run out of space.
So back at the party, there's some kids hiding out with the horse. One of them gives the sign of the cross, which is a nice touch. At the main house, Mom and a couple kids work their way out while the birds seem to have calmed down. Very Hitchcock-esque, with the birds randomly not attacking now. They step over the dead nurse along the way. I'm bored as they creep around the house, looking for the rest of the kids. They get to the van. Slow-mo of kids from the barn running out to join them in the van. They all pile in. Vehicle won't start. Just throw that in there. Might as well.
You just feel like, though, if those kids didn't run out on their own, like this woman was not going back for them.
She's like, they're dead. It doesn't matter. Just go. They're dead. They drive off, and but luckily you haven't heard the last clip from the movie. We get a poignant report from our favorite character, the reporter. I still don't know her name. Do you guys know what her name was?
Vanessa.
Let's hear what Vanessa has to say as we're wrapping up this whole movie.
In all parts of the world, the birds appear to have returned to their normal behavior. All attacks have ceased, and we seem to be at peace. The nightmare ended the same way it started, suddenly and inexplicably. Perhaps they knew they could never defeat the most cruel killer of all, man. Or perhaps their message was sent, a message to care for this fragile sphere we call Earth, to nurture and share the riches with all God's creatures, if we are to survive. Or maybe it was a rehearsal for some kind of natural master plan, a plan to discard any and all who disrupts nature's perfect harmony, a plan to choose who will survive.
All right, that's the sound of a baby. It sounds like it was recorded with like a very bad handheld recorder, you know? There's a baby in the house with a mom watching this report. We're cutting to all these strangers in front of their TV, captivated by this report by Vanessa. And then there's a little hint that bees are going to start doing it now, huh, Charlie?
Yeah, or just any kind of insects. It almost looked like they were splashing water at a lake to make it look like some bugs were flying around. It was hard to tell, but yeah.
Very hard to tell.
You got to wonder if they genuinely thought that they were maybe going to make that movie, or did they knew other movies ended with those, and what if it happens again, or in a different way, endings.
Bugs, the movie. Well,
that would be terrible.
It's our job to pick up the...
Bugs is a movie. Haven't you ever seen it?
No, but what about Bugs the movie? Is that...
Oh, Bugs the movie.
Yeah, the sequel to Beaks. Yeah. So, and then it's over. And like I said, I was pretty darn happy, start to finish. I did not remember how enjoyable this was. All I remembered is shock memories. Why not? Shock memories. I remember the phone call with the grandfather. That's about all I remembered. I had a vague idea of the rest of it, but I did not know how many great interactions there were. And I cannot emphasize enough the flat delivery of Vanessa. I could listen to her talk. I could listen to her read the phone book. Charlie, tell us your shock memories.
The grandpa phone call is my favorite, and we talk about the violence and the craziness in Cardona movies, especially with animals. So this just backs up what we talked about with the cat being thrown in Blood Feast, and it's nice that we just watched one of his not too long ago, so you can pick up on his different things he likes with slow-mo and animal violence and stuff like that. But yeah, it was oddly fun. It's like watching a foreigner's dream that you can't. It would be weird enough, but it's extra weird because it's through a
Lost in
prism of trying to
translation,
pretend to be another culture or something.
Yes.
And the whole thing is just dreamlike, but yeah, it's charming. And I don't know what the deal was with that reporter because she wasn't dubbed. Her lines could have been. That's just her way of acting, and
It's marvelous.
It's fun to watch here, but it's certainly not traditionally good.
Tom, your shock memories?
Yeah, all I really remembered was the animal cruelty, and the birds exploding. And I actually randomly remembered that pier scene when they hide under the pier and they think that's gonna save them from the birds.
What happened to them? Did I miss that in my notes? I mean, they were under the pier, and then did we ever see them again?
I don't think so.
They're like, let's just
that
go.
was that's how they got away.
Did they get away?
I thought
Totally
in my
forgot
memory,
about them.
when they went to the pier, I thought, oh, they're gonna use some breathing tubes or something to be under the water. I thought that was gonna happen, but no, they just went for the underwater without ability to breathe.
That was their
place.
brilliant plan. Well, the phone call though, Tom, did that stand out in your shock?
Yeah,
memory?
well, yeah, the phone call, obviously. I mean, there's a picture of that. So, but I mean, I definitely agree with you guys. I didn't remember it being that fun. And actually, the first like 35 minutes or so, I was like, oh, this movie is just so horrible. Like, I wasn't really into it. And then it really started picking up, and like the dialogue of Vanessa and Peter, or not Peter so much, he's really annoying, but Vanessa's just marvelous. Like, she's stumbling over her lines like all the time. Like doing a report, she's like she stumbles over her lines and corrects herself and just keeps rolling. Like, she doesn't say cut, like let's take that again. She just goes. It's marvelous.
Yeah, and just to really emphasize the beauty of this phone call, we're gonna listen to it one more time. When the girl calls grandfather, just listen to the way the words are spoken.
Hello.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Fine, Grandpa. How's my horse?
He's fine, my love. He misses you very much. You have to tell your mom to bring you over so you can ride him.
That's the moment right there. That pause.
How did it happen? If the movie was dubbed, the editor could have taken that little trim that little gap out there. It's lovely. It makes my year. Just that pause.
That's the moment. That is beautiful. And check out Jim McHugh's speech at the end of "Don't Let the River Beast Get You," which is when he says, "We are a brave town," said the president. That's our homage to that. Yeah.
Oh man.
But
also,
yeah. What do you got?
Sorry.
Go.
I was just saying, it's also like very interesting that Rene Cardona Jr. obviously hates animals, or he likes to see them in pain.
He likes to exploit.
And yet the whole point of this movie is that we need to preserve them.
Yeah, there's a major conundrum going on there. That's very true.
Yeah, I think he's a great example of if you ever want to make a case for production value over everything. He just wants stuff, either a shot of an explosion or some kind of action or something. The least that he ever wants to work on is organizing plot. And then I guess character he also really doesn't want to work on. But
no. Well, to that point, I was counting in the credits. Because not only did they list the countries they shot in, they listed the cities they shot in the closing credits. There were 7 individual locations in Spain, 4 in Peru, Morocco, Italy, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, all listed as locations. And like you said, Farley, before, like it could have been in one spot the whole movie.
No one
why?
Will know. Yeah, what a waste. I guess he was just traveling there anyway. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, unnecessary.
We were imagining he had contacts there or got like tax breaks or something like that, but.
Or did he just have a friend with a camera? Did he film most of it one place, but he had friends with cameras in other places? And because it's not like he takes advantage of these locations. They're like, it's just in rooms of houses. You see like a quick shot of the city, and then you're in a nondescript location. Anyway, so yeah, but it's a darn enjoyable movie. It's pretty darn good. And versus Blood Feast, I think I'll take Beaks. You know, I mean, Blood Feast has the rhythm, but Beaks has a little bit more variety, and I'm gonna have to go with that. What about you guys?
That's a tough one. The problem with Beaks is that there's nobody really to like, except kind of the reporter, I guess. But like, there's no Dorgo. You know, there's no character. Like, she is the plainest character ever, and everybody else is very unpleasant. You know.
Yeah. My favorite guy is the guy who gets scratched by the canary. He's the hero to me because he has such a lordly manner and such panache when he gets interviewed. And he's just like got style and he's strolling.
What year is this movie?
87.
87? Oh,
but
it feels
you know how that
like
goes.
it feels like 74.
Yeah, well, there's multiple things that work there. One, foreign countries are usually a little behind. Like, they have some of our older styles. Two, maybe this movie was shot a year or two earlier. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, you can't, not too much before that, because you can look at the other movies that girl was in. But
so she's big, or in the horror world, or what?
No, she was a regular actress in some stuff, like soap opera kind of things, and she was in Blame It on Rio before this. And then, interestingly enough, she was married to Matt Williams, former Giants third baseman and former Washington Nationals manager.
Huh.
Fascinating. And does she act that poorly in her other movies?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to look into that.
Might have been Rene's influence. And Cardona was like, hey,
like,
can you slow this all down and make it more stilted?
And maybe like the intonation should be opposite of your instinct. You know, whatever word you want to emphasize, de-emphasize, and vice versa.
I think this movie's. Do you guys think that it's unless it gets a re-release or something, it's one that's a little hard to find people talking about or watching or having access to.
I searched Beaks the movie on Twitter, and all I found were your tweets about it, at least in recent time.
Yeah.
And it's something that people should be speaking about on a daily basis.
Yes, certainly.
All right, well, I think we did it. Beaks the movie. We'll be back next month for another exciting edition of ShockMarathons podcast. For Charlie and Tom, this is Farley saying good night.